Welcome to this episode of The Good, The Bad, and the Odd with your host, Mark. So, I'm a bit weird there, didn't I? It was a bit...
Yeah.
I don't know what I was doing. Hi, Sam.
Hello there.
How you doing?
Doing pretty good.
Okay, so today we are covering my choice, which is a war film from 1967 called Dirty Dozen. Dirty Dozen. But before we do that, we're going to do our comfy chair. Shall I go first? Do you want to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
Right, the first one on my list is a movie with Elvis called King Creole. Probably his best movie, to be honest. I've kind of been meaning to rewatch this for a while, but Mike from the Rewatch Project and Chinstraka vs. Partner has been doing reaction videos to various pieces of music, and he did a few of the tracks from King Creole, his reaction to them on the film. So watching the film, very first time, never seen it, and his reaction to it was kind of interesting. But it just reminded me how good, I wanted to rewatch it again, and also how good some of the tracks are. I always knew they were good. It's just sometimes it's worth rewatching these things. I've had the CD for a while. It's the only Elvis soundtrack I've got as well, because there's some really good songs on it. There's some crappy ones. There's some, bland filler kind of songs. But man, there's some songs that absolutely rock, including King Creole, of course. But there's things like Hard-Headed Woman, Trouble, one I really like called Crawfish. And stuff like that. And Elvis was really great in these, and it's a shame that he didn't continue this trajectory. He kind of did in a couple of films, particularly Jailhouse Rock, but after that, all his films got kind of sappy. I think he went in the army, came out, and then Colonel Tom just got him into these sappy films where they could just jam as many songs as possible into each, and release the soundtrack. It was kind of like that. But in this one's a black and white one. It's quite effective. Set in New Orleans. New Orleans is quite the place. That it looks like they're filming on location as well as sets as well. It looks like Bourbon Street to me. It could be a set, but I'm pretty sure they film on Bourbon Street now and again. Who else is in this? Carolyn Jones is in this. Morticia Adams. And she's really terrific. Walter Matthau is in it as like a scumbag person that owns every place on the street apart from one, where Elvis, whose character's name's Danny, works, and he proves his chops singing, but then he gets into issues with a gang he was in, and they try and sort of turn it, say we can help you out, and all this, and he's got problems with his father. His father, he thinks, is a doormat, really, wherever he works, and all this, that, and the other. Yeah, it's a really, really good film. It, it rushes through the drama, but I think it's a solid drama as well as a really good musical. And the musical interludes are all part of the film. He's performing on stage or he's playing a guitar in the street and singing. They're not just... Yeah, that's it. They're not just bursting into song about the story, if that makes sense. But yeah, it's really good, King Creole. I really enjoyed it. I got it on Blu-ray. Don't regret it. I'll be watching it again soon, I should think. Anyway, that's me. That's my number one.
Okay, so my first thing is they were showing Godzilla minus color at cinemas again. So I went to go see that with some friends. Right. Now, this is Godzilla minus one, just in black and white.
Yeah.
Now... I will say, we covered Godzilla Minus One previously. Yeah. It's a good film. Highly recommend it. I will say I prefer it with the color. There's something to Godzilla starting his atomic breath and the entire room going blue that just makes it way more striking.
Yeah.
Yes, it was pretty, and it was a good version of switching it, color changing.
Yeah.
I do prefer it in color.
Yeah, I can see why. I think this might be more fun in black and white if you were watching it as a trilogy with the original Godzilla and Godzilla Returns. The first sequel, Godzilla Returns. They kind of have a similar feel, don't they, before they start getting too goofy. And I think, because those two are in black and white, that might make it work better. I don't know. But you're glad you saw it again, right?
Yeah, it's fun to see. I saw it with some friends who hadn't seen the actual film before, so yeah.
Okay, well that's a treat
really
for them.
It, so.
Yeah. It's a bit of a treat, isn't it? That film. It's a really, really. I mean, one of the best Godzilla films, clearly, right?
Oh, I'd say the best Godzilla film.
Yeah, yeah. Better than the original Godzilla, do you think?
But yeah.
Wow. Okay, fair enough. Okay, cool, nice. And seeing it at the cinema, I bet was a blast as well.
Yeah,
Right,
that's great.
my second one was a film we both watched. Actually, my second choice here is a film we both watched, which is a Chinese ghost story.
I completely forgot about Chinese ghost story. Huh. Okay.
This was terrific. It's a film from 1987. I saw it years ago when it was put on TV. I did have an old DVD copy, and I said, "Let's watch this," didn't I? And then we put it on, and it looked absolutely terrible. And it was shrunk on the.
It was
for
both
some reason,
letterboxed and pillar boxed. So
yeah, it was like a
weirdly...
smaller version in the middle of this my big screen. It was weird. So I said, hold on, we're not going to watch it like this. So I had a look around, couldn't find it on streaming, could only find it to buy on Amazon, but it kind of might have been a German version, i.e. no English subtitles. It wasn't clear. But then I found a box set from China, I know, that appeared to be the genuine article in English subtitles and, a proper transfer and stuff like that. And the price of that from China as a trilogy, the three films, there's three films in the series, was the same as the Amazon one, which might have been German on its own. So I thought I'll take a punt. It took a few weeks to come. It did arrive, and we finally watched the first one. And we're going to probably watch the second and maybe third at some point. I'm going to guess. But terrific film. I'm glad we waited and saw a good version. It kind of borrows a bit from The Evil Dead, doesn't it? The Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2.
Yeah. There's a lot of very clear visual homages, not just the sort of camera.
Yeah. And even
towards people.
There's some stop motion that reminds you of Harryhausen as well in places. But man, this is crazy. It's just fun. It's just such a fun film. It's a man falls in love with a ghost lady, doesn't know she's a ghost lady, but he wants to help settle her soul, save her soul. She's bound to like this monstrous form. Who she has to kind of trap men. That's the thing. But she wrangles it so he escapes, and he has the help of a Taoist monk who is nuts. He knows all this crazy magic.
He starts like shooting fireballs from his hands at one point.
Yeah,
except they're not really fireballs as much as he points at someone and they explode.
Yes, so it does look like depth charges, grenades as well as places. And there's like giant slithering tongues that are disgusting and all this kind of stuff. It's this was it's a shame it's not easy to get hold of because it's deserves.
It's kind of a shame the subtitles and the version you got were not.
The subtitles were wacky wrong in places. I mean, clearly wrong. And it's like you had to kind of work it out as you went. But I still enjoyed it thoroughly. I mean, this was maybe like a 9 out of 10 for me. It was that good. I really, really enjoyed this film. And I'm looking forward to... I know I haven't seen 3, but I have seen 2. And I remember it being quite good. But I don't remember it. I've seen the first one more times than I've seen the second one. And I haven't seen either of them for like 30 years. So I remember the first one way more distinctly than the second one. But I do remember liking the second one quite a lot. And I'm kind of looking forward to getting onto that at some point. Chinese Ghost Story. Massive recommend. Very hard to get. But as I say, I did get an import from China or... that part of the world. It might be Hong Kong, I can't remember. And I can't even remember where I found it. It wasn't on Amazon, and I don't think it was it might have been eBay, I can't remember. But they delivered, and I was very happy with it. So, great. That's my second choice.
Okay, so my second thing is actually an audiobook I was listening to called Helbrecht. It was Hell's Reach. One of the characters in it was called Helbrecht. This is a 40k novel, Warhammer 40,000, following the story of a character by the name of Chaplain Grimaldus, who's the commander of this massive siege on the defensive. They're being held in a hive city called Hell's Reach, with hence the name. And they are under siege by orcs, which are, imagine, these are not like Lord of the Rings orcs. These are proportionally more like gorillas that can have like a truck's worth of metal strapped to them, and also all of it is assault rifles, and that's how they fight.
Oh wow! Constant stream of rifles.
Yeah, just
rifles.
a constant stream of bullets. If you've heard the term Mordaka, that's what the orcs are where that's from. And yeah, so it's basically chronicling Grimaldus and his ongoing efforts to just get people to please fucking work together. Because by God, all the Imperial factions, the Titans, the Mechanicus, the army, and the various Space Marines he has to work with, they're not cooperating. So it's just like, okay, please, can you just stay there, shoot whatever comes that way, please. We're going to go off into the desert and try and find this. No, I know it's sacrilegious to do that to you guys, but we have to, or else we're not going to survive. It's like, it's just balancing a lot of that.
Okay.
But it's a really good book.
It's essentially
about 12 hours long.
And it's a massive battle, is it?
It's a massive siege.
With the drama around preparing for the siege and dealing with where you're losing and all that business, right?
Yeah.
All that kind of
it
stuff.
comes down to about like a couple of hundred people. Hive cities within the setting, which is what this takes place in, are cities that have populations in the billions.
Wow. Okay.
And it gets whittled down to a few hundred, which is to tell you how extensive the fighting gets. And this, so highly recommend it. It can be quite dry because there's lots of bits where, even within the context of the scene, Grimaldus is almost falling asleep at the descriptions of like troop movements. Yeah. But it is really good.
Okay, that's cool. 12 hours is long. That's long, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
so
really
it must
good.
be equivalent to like 400 pages or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Printed text. Wow. Okay, my next one is a TV series from Apple. Again, you and I have watched this together, and I think you've watched it before. I think you've watched it twice now. This is the first watch for me, which is Ted Lasso. Ted Lasso, I've only watched the first 2 seasons. There is a third, which I will get to. Ted Lasso, Apple TV. I have to say the first season was absolutely terrific. It was really fun. The second season's much less fun. And let me qualify that. There's much more drama, serious drama. When I say it's less fun, and you know what, I like it for the fun. So I wasn't so much taken with season 2. I still liked it, and I'm still going to watch season 3.
So,
but if
my friends qualified it as the bit of an Empire Strikes Back, which
there is a touch of that.
It's very dour. But,
there is a touch of that. I really liked all the characters in season 1. Season 2, again, really carried on. But there was a few characters there was a new character in season 2. I didn't think it worked. And I won't go into the specifics because I don't want to spoil it for anyone. But for me, there was one new character that didn't work. And there was also a change of tone around one character that I didn't enjoy so much, but it was kind of needed because it's setting up season 3. So I kind of understand it by the end. But during it was like, why have they made this person like that? I don't quite understand. It seems a bit weird. But then I kind of get it at the end. But actually, you know what? It's so terrific. Juno Temple's excellent as Keeley. Was it Hannah Waddingham? She's excellent.
Hannah Waddingham as Rebecca.
Yeah.
We didn't quite explain the premise. It's a show about a American football coach that gets invited to lead a championship England side
for football, soccer, right? Not American football, but soccer. A sport he's never coached in, right? But he is a coach, and it's there's reasons he's become that's kind of under the covers. But then you find out why, and you find out why he took it on, and you find out what's going on in his life and stuff like that. It's really excellent. I mean, Roy Kent, one of the characters, Roy Kent, who's a dour older footballer.
He's every fucking way.
Yeah, Roy Kent. That character is just amazing. He's kind of imagine a really aggressive, angry, Ron Swanson is probably the closest, right? Would you say?
Yeah, that's probably the closest I can think of.
He's kind of knows his stuff, but he doesn't articulate. He just says.
He just growls at people.
Yeah, or he'll growl. Like there's one. Not really a spoiler. There's one point his niece has been upset by a boy at school. He goes, "What's his name?" We're getting around his house, and his girlfriend's like, "No, hold on." And she sorts out all this stuff. She goes, "No, isn't that better than punching a small child?" And Roy Kent's like,
just kind of looks at her for a bit.
He can't say it. He can't say it. Yes. So I'm looking forward to season 3. But like I say, there was a few elements in season 2 I didn't quite take to. However, there are some really amazing episodes. There's one episode, there's another American coach that's come with Ted called Coach Beard, who basically is a night in London. Just him wandering around London, getting into scrapes and stuff, which is I think the title of the episode kind of indicates it. It felt a bit like Scorsese's After Hours.
Dark. Yeah.
After Hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's called Beard After Hours. So.
Yeah, that was fun. But yeah, I really like some of the team, and I like the character development. They've gone from quite aggy, they're quite offish to Ted when he first arrives, and they kind of get to know his kind of approach and stuff like that. Apple knocked this one out of the park, in my opinion.
Yeah.
This is a good pickup, and I'm glad I got to see it. I kept hearing good things about it, but just hadn't seen it. But we finally got to it, and we will be getting to season 3 shortly. Anyway, Ted Lasso.
Okay, now my final thing kind of seems like inconsequential in comparison. There's been a new downloadable content for Vampire Survivors, which is a game I play a lot of. Because it's really nice and easy to pick up and very fun. However, this one is all about Castlevania. It's a crossover of downloadable content with the game that gave this game most of its source material, really.
Yeah.
And it's really fun.
My impression, I haven't played it, but Vampire Survivors is very Castlevania-y anyway, right? Yeah. Is it?
In terms of aesthetic, yes.
Yeah.
In terms of gameplay, it's very different. They transposed, I guess would be the best word, most of the, pretty much all the characters from Castlevania. There's about 80 playable characters. It's absurd.
Right.
And put them in the game.
Yeah. So they took the unique selling point, the characters and the look and feel, didn't they, and transposed it into a different style of game.
And added the new map of Dracula's Castle, which is massive. You can't really get across it in one playthrough, so you have to beat bosses, which unlocks shortcuts to get further along the castle.
I see. That's quite cool. Yes, I like it. Okay, that sounds good. Yeah. What was that on? Switch?
I played it on Switch, but it's on all the same stuff that Vampire Survivors is available on.
Yeah.
So Steam, consoles, mobile, and it's really good and really cheap. It's like £3. So
cool. Right. Okay, let's park our comfy chair there, and we'll get on to the Dirty Dozen. Okay, Dirty Dozen, my choice this time. I felt like we needed a bit of some action and a bit more fun. The list was quite dark in places, as we said.
Made in really grim.
Grim in places. Made by Robert Aldrich, who made a lot of other quite well-known films. I think, for example, sometimes I'll get mixed up with another Robert, right? So I need to be careful. He made The Longest Yard, the Mean Machine with Burt Reynolds. We like that a lot, don't we?
Yeah.
Another film I really, really like of his is, and it stars one of the actors, and this is the main actor in this one, Kiss Me Deadly, a 50s tough as nails noir thriller. I mean, really tough, the toughest of tough noir thrillers. They're really, everyone's horrible, and it's a really tough world. People getting beaten up left, right, and centre. All this, but. Let's get back to the film. It stars Lee Marvin. Now, Lee Marvin was just off of another successful film called The Professionals, which is a Western which involves a group, basically a caper, doing, I think it's a robbery or basically a set of professional gunslingers stroke sort of mercenaries, but in the Old West doing a job, right? And this is kind of similar. Now, coming off of that, he kind of had his pick of work, and they presented him this, and he was taken with it. Lee Marvin is actually was a US Marine and fought in World War II, and indeed got machine gunned in World War II. Yeah. So he knows the army, he knows his stuff, right?
Actors, rather.
Oh, I suspect quite a few of them were in World War II. It was that era, right?
Their age.
Yeah. Also, I mean, it's got a fairly starry cast, right? Ernest Borgnine's a general. Charles Bronson's in it. We get Telly Savalas and Donald Sutherland, both of whom are in Kelly's Heroes, that was made a few years after this. But we also get the likes of John Cassavetes, is quite a significant character in this. Franco, but we get George Kennedy, and Robert Ryan, Trini Lopez. Some of these won't mean anything to some of your younger listeners. Names won't mean anything, but they were significant back in the day. This is about a mission that takes place on the eve of D-Day. Essentially,
it's literally to try and wipe out some of the commanders,
the high echelon commanders in France, right? That's what it's about. But essentially, Lee Marvin recruits or is given 12 convicted criminals, or either up for hanging or like a minimum 20 years hard labour, but a lot of them have sentenced to hanging for basically a suicide mission. And he doesn't like it. He says, "I think this stinks. I've got to put my life in the line for these guys. You've got to leave it to me." And basically, there's a warning all the way through. He goes, "Any of you guys step out of line, you're all back to jail and you're getting your sentences. That's it, right? You got to do what I say." But they don't quite go along with it, but it kind of works out. Probably the most significant of the 12 is probably Franco, John Cassavetes, who kicks back the most, I'd say. But also Charles Bronson's character is quite interesting. He's the quiet one, who probably is the most professional soldier of all of them, right? It feels like he really knows what he's doing. Apparently, this was inspired by a real-life US behind-the-lines unit called the Filthy 13. How about that?
Which sounds like a bad parody.
Yeah, but also apparently Roosevelt did actually okay a special, effectively, suicide squad from people in penitentiaries. There were a team of 44 soldiers recruited from penitentiaries, basically doing suicide missions. That was their job. That's rough, isn't it? That's rough. But I guess it's best to go that way than just hung. At least you're doing something for your country, I guess. Anyway, it was a big success. Got nominated for all sorts. Didn't win so much in the big awards, but it won a fair few things. And there were several sequels, some of which were TV movies. But the first one is what we're talking about. And basically, Lee Marvin is an OSS major, isn't he? Special services major called Reisman. In Britain, and there's a lot of filming in Britain in this, isn't there? You can tell. You can just tell.
Everything takes place in Britain. But there are no British characters. Not a single British accent in there.
No,
at all. It's
nothing.
kind of funny.
Yeah, it is funny. And essentially, they have to build their own camp, their own barracks, which they're pissed off about. They start moaning about having to shave in cold water. So he says, right, no more shaving, no more hot water at all. That's it. That's your lot. And they become the dirty dozen because they can't wash. And I think they aren't even given soap, right?
Yeah, they refuse to wash.
Yeah, there's all this going on. So it's quite a long setup, isn't it? I mean, it takes... Look, he basically interviews quite a lot of them in jail before we even start the training. And that's like 20, 30 minutes in. And it's a 2.5 hour film. It takes time. What was your general feeling about the film? I should have asked this earlier.
I quite liked it, but it was too long. It was way too long.
It felt... Is baggy the right word? It just felt too extended. To me.
I was reading up on it. Apparently, it was so extended. There's a part where, spoilers, a character dies off screen,
Yeah.
That was because the actor it was taking so long, he just quit.
Yeah,
Like
he had to go. He had another job. Yeah, I don't think we have to concern ourselves with spoilers for this because it is quite old.
yeah.
So they're basically they are told they've got to sort of lump it or they're back in jail. And but one point, one of them, Franco, tries to actually escape, and they kind of grab the others, get him, and beat him up. Right?
Yeah, they beat the shit out of him.
And old Reisman goes, "Any problems?" And they're like, "Oh, he just slipped on some soap, or he tripped over." And he knows something's going on, but he also realises he's got to bond these guys, and he bonds them by making them hate him. Basically, which is one of the reasons he denies them all sorts, right, and makes them build stuff. He makes them build the guards' houses before they finish their own, so they're exposed to the weather. Weirdly, though, the entire camp, we don't see them actually finish their huts.
Yeah, we never see like the completed camp.
It's clearly not completed.
Yeah. There's a stupid bit where like they have to pretend to be regular soldiers.
Yeah.
To get through to do some, what was it, live fire exercises?
Yeah, and a certain guy's making himself busy. He wants to know what they're doing, but if they tell, they all go back to jail, so none of them are talking. So one of them, Charles Bronson's character, actually gets a beating in the toilet, but manages to beat him, get rescued and hit him back, but he doesn't talk, right? He doesn't talk.
Yeah.
And they pretend, basically they pull up this guy who wants to know what's going on, and they pretend one of them's got a general. And for some reason, they picked the youngest, goofiest looking one, which is Donald Sutherland, to pretend to be a general, and he gets to inspect the troops, while the rest of them kind of giggle. So it's clearly, not legit, but there's enough going on that the guy in charge who wants to know what's going on, doesn't question it. But he presents to the general in charge, which is Ernest Borgnine, and says, this is a ramshackle outfit. They're not up to it. And old Reisman's like, tell you what, let's play the war games. If we win, we do the mission. If not, we'll go back to jail. Right? And we don't see much planning around that. They basically use tricks, don't they? And quite good, though, effective. They change armbands. They pretend they've got an injured soldiers. They blow up trucks. They steal stuff, just to make it appear like some of them have been in an accident and are wounded, and they get put into the room they are supposed to capture, don't they, as for protection, and then basically they pull the what's-it. It was fun. Any particular standouts for you in terms of the actors or characters?
I quite like Posey because he was like the only one that wasn't a terrible person.
I also think
this people murdered someone. This guy like assaulted someone.
Rapist.
Telly Savalas is like a religious nut who keeps killing women
and raping them, even though he says I think he does.
They keep saying like you got to stop like raping people, but. And he's like, I don't rape them, I just send them to God. And it's like,
there was, I'd say, of the 12, there's 2 characters that really shouldn't have been there at all, or are good people. One you've said Posey, and the other one was played by Jim Brown, the black character, whose name was Jefferson. He was basically white GIs tried to castrate him, so he fought back. And killed one
of them.
And that's why he was there. So I think those 2, for me. I also think Charles Bronson's character was then unnecessarily. Basically, he was sent out, his officers sent him on it was a bit like Kelly's story, Kelly's Heroes. It was that kind of thing. Charles Bronson hates officers, though, the character. His name is Ladislaw. Yeah. So those 3 were okay. We also see they've got support of a sergeant, an MP, who's played by Richard Jekyll, I think. He's a professional soldier as well, but he's also part of the mission. So essentially they win the war game, so they get to do it. So they're jumping just before D-Day. Basically it's an attack on a French villa that's been subverted by the Nazis, right?
It's used as both like a hotel and sort of getaway, as well as like an arms storage. So essentially what they do is there's a whole song to the plan.
I love
He just
this.
sort of
This was
cancels off.
awesome. 1, down the roadblock we just begun. 2, the guards are through. Basically, it's going through each of their steps, isn't it? It's really cool. I really like it as an idea. It works quite well. The repeated rhyme, because it gets repeated again and again. So that's how we get to learn the plan, isn't it? By them looking bored and reciting each of their steps and stuff like that. And they got little models, and they're talking about that.
They make jokes about Donald Duck being there.
Yeah, there was some other choices in the original casting. Lee Marvin's role was originally offered to John Wayne, which I think would have been bad. I think Lee Marvin is perfect in this, personally. What do you think?
Yeah. I don't think John Wayne would have done too well at this.
Yeah.
It wasn't a sort of, hey there, pilgrims kind of role. So.
Yeah, and Jack Palance was offered the role of Maggot, but he didn't like the racism of that character. But
also Telly Savalas is massively racist in this.
Oh yeah. He just starts fights, doesn't he?
He starts fights with Jefferson.
Though, to be fair, the other guys sort of just try and keep him apart, right? Don't they? That's not for Maggot's a terrible human being. Let's be clear on that. Through and through, it's murderous and all sorts. And in fact, there's one point where,
pretty much as soon as the mission starts, he wanders off and kills a woman.
Yeah, and just goes mental.
Yeah.
But I have to say, there's one point just before they do their mission, Lee Marvin gets the sergeant to hire a load of prostitutes from a nearby town and bring them in, because the guys might be dead the next day, kind of thing. Or not just before the mission, just at some point, and that's kind of an odd scene, isn't it? They said, "Let's dance," because there's no music, and Lee Marvin's just drinking away and stuff like that.
He wheels them in. It's like, okay, they're here. I'm gonna leave for a while. Whatever do is up to you, and leaves.
Yeah. I have to say, it was kind of interesting because the camp they were in wasn't a secure one that they were restricted in, was it? They actually did their own guard duty and stuff. It was like a military camp, which is kind of interesting. But again, if any of them would run, they'd all go back to jail. So there was kind of that. I'm surprised Maggot didn't do anything like that, to be honest, but he didn't. That wasn't part of it.
No win there at that point. So.
They are in the middle of nowhere as well.
Yes.
Franco I really liked as well. I thought he was kind of... John Cassavetes' character, I thought that was a pretty strong character. And he earned him a few nominations as well, as did Lee Marvin and John Cassavetes earned various nominations and won a few here and there. They got nominated... John Cassavetes was not a Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actor. Didn't win, but... was nominated for it, and what else was there? It didn't win an Oscar for Best Sound Effects, which is probably the element I paid at least attention to. I wasn't really paying attention to the sound effects. That seems a bit weird. But Lee Marvin did win a Top Action Performance Award from something called the Laurel Awards. And also Jim Brown was nominated, and John Cassavetes were nominated in the same award for Best Supporting Performance. So both of those were acknowledged as good performances. Kind of interesting. It's quite a nihilistic film, isn't it, this? We would have to say before I get to it. They murdered the shit out of everyone in the place. Women... So, all right, fair enough, the Nazis or Germans, but the women as well? That seems a bit much.
There's a bit where... literally all the everyone that's not a lieutenant gets put in a bunker, and the dozen start chucking grenades into the bunker
and petrol.
Yes, and petrol. So they pour petrol down the the ventilation sort of chimneys, and then just drop grenades down there, and it's wow, that's
it's
horrendous.
A bit strong. And there's also a bit where they actually infiltrate, don't they? Lee Marvin and Charles Bronson. Charles Bronson's the only one who could talk German. Infiltrate in German uniforms and sort of get a lay of the land. Now, the plan seems weird, right? They seem to know what they're doing, but then they have to do infiltration. I don't really understand that bit, but it doesn't matter. They know all the arms are in the basement, as well as all of these German officers, right? So they're just going to blow the shit out of the basement. Loads of them die, don't they? One dies before they even get
like,
there,
only
which
two
is
of
the
them survive.
three,
One of-
isn't it? Well, of the original 12, it's only
of the
one,
dozen.
right? Is it only Charles Bronson, and then Lee Marvin and the sergeant survive as well, right? That's it.
Oh yeah. So it was only one of the 12.
Yeah,
survived.
yeah, they all die. They all get machine guns. One is at the radio tower and he's taken out, but his foot goes through the floor, and he can't get it out, so he sacrifices himself. He grenades the tower that's right next to him, dies, but he does take out the radio tower. So they can, and that they just, I mean, it looks like they blew up a place to me. Did you feel like that? It looked like they built up.
Blew up a place.
They were blowing up bridges and all sorts. They were machine gunning Germans. There was all sorts. They were taking out. It was quite impressive. Snipers were shooting at them, and they were taking them out with machine guns. Snipers out with machine guns. Quite the thing. Quite exciting as well.
Yeah.
But
Jefferson's like
it's a bit
massive
strong.
run chucking grenades down the chimneys was quite cool, despite how
Yeah.
war crimey it was. So
Yeah, I have to say this must have been an inspiration for Tarantino's Inglourious Basterds, which is a similar premise of people infiltrating a place full of Germans, but also intending to sort of do something about it. It felt, there was some stuff that felt very similar.
okay.
So yeah,
I've not seen that film. So
this was
I have no idea.
yeah, fair enough. This was a massive success when it came out. Really, really did well. It was number 2 in the US box office for the year, and the only film above it was James Bond, You Only Live Twice.
Okay.
So yeah, it was. Yeah. Oh no, it was the 4th highest grossing film. It never reached the number 1 spot in the cinemas when it was released, because You Only Live Twice was released at the same time. That's what it was. The French loved it. Apparently, they really liked it. And you got to remember, this is only 20 odd years after the end of the war, so it's going to be a lot of memories for people.
Yeah.
Some of the older people watching it for the first time, right? Some of the critics hated it, though it was rated quite highly. Some of them hated it because it was so amoral, you know?
Yeah. See, this is kind of interesting because I viewed it very much as a war is hell sort of film.
They felt it was sadistic. I don't know, man. They were just doing what they had to do. And I mean, they weren't deliberately killing they just didn't care. They just didn't. You got to remember, there's only 12 of them, or 14 of them if you include, everyone. There's no way they're going to be able to pair out the women that were with the German officers. They ask the staff to leave, don't they? They say, run to the staff. The French staff.
The staff were French. Yeah.
Yeah, we see that part. I think Marvin this might be his finest role. He's good in everything he's in. I know you haven't seen him in much, but he's very good in everything.
This is the only thing I've seen him in.
But he was good, right? You liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah. John Cassavetes delivered. You don't see him in much, but he delivers in this. And Telly Savalas he doesn't usually do this kind of role. It was kind of interesting to see such a weird, perverse character as well. I just thought it was a very, very solid film. The thing is, the whole operation is kind of pointless because D-Day's tomorrow, as it were.
D-Day's just about to happen.
Yeah, so. So yeah,
they're still going to catch them off by surprise. So
in a way, it's a dirtier, grittier, grimier, modern version of Seven Samurai in some respects, isn't it? Sort of that kind of thing. None of them are there by choice, apart from Lee Marvin, and even he doesn't want to be there. They're just getting on with what they need to. I'm looking at another review. It says this is a film that's anti-military, anti-establishment, anti-women, anti-religion, anti-culture, and anti-life. Okay, fair enough. And there is a touch of that, but was quite exciting. It has to be said. I guess the nearest we've seen of anything like it is probably Kelly's Heroes, right?
Yeah.
But that's a much lighter, more fun film, much more of a family film, actually, I would say, compared to this. But yeah, apparently Marvel launched a comic off the back of this. So 5 years later, but even so, it was inspired by this, called Combat Kelly and His Deadly Dozen. It was called. So yeah, how about that? So Combat Kelly, it only lasted for 9 issues, so not too good.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But yeah, I think it's the first movie that has the concept of a Suicide Squad as such. You know, it's doing something that they probably know they're not going to survive. But yeah, it was kind of interesting. Any final thoughts?
No, not really. This is a good film. I do recommend it, but yeah, it's kind of interesting to see how you took it as an action film, as I took it as a war as hell film. So.
Yeah. Well,
apparently there's going to be a remake at some point.
Okay, yeah,
by David Ayer.
Yeah, it did inspire a few other films. It did inspire a Michael Caine film, which I've never seen, called Play Dirty. Which again uses convicts recruited as soldiers to do a mission that's probably a suicide mission. It's one of those. There was an Italian film that kind of riffed on it called Inglourious Basterds. Yeah, which, you know, Inglourious Tarantino kind of used that title again. I don't know how similar it is to the Italian film because I haven't seen it. But there's definitely a Dirty Dozen vibe to that film. Okay, let's rate it. How would you rate this?
I'd rate this about a 7 or 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I think it's a 4 out of 5 for me, so I'll rate it about the same way. I've just noticed something amazing, which is Joe Dante in his film Small Soldiers, you know, about the green plastic. He uses the voices of some of the original cast from this film. In that film. How about that? That's amazing. So, yeah. And actually, David Ayer, who made one of the Suicide Squad films, said, basically, this is the Dirty Dozen with supervillains. Yeah. That's what he said. They announced a remake a while ago. It looks like maybe it's going nowhere, I guess. But, yeah, interesting film. I think it was a lot of characters. It was a little too long, but I think the time was used reasonably well. I don't feel there was anything particularly superfluous, but I think some of the stuff could have been cut. More near the beginning than the end, though, is how I feel. The recruitment was a bit baggy. Possibly the training could have been tightened up a bit, but it was okay. But it kept me entertained for the 2.5. What about you as well?
Yeah, it was good. But the mission was not much of this film. It was less than half an hour.
Yeah, but it was full on, wasn't it? I mean, it really popped, the whole mission. It was kind of interesting. All right, then we'll wind up there. Then I think so. Bye from me.
Bye.